You are now listening to On Air with Lewis Hunter.
Hi there, welcome back to On Air with Lewis Hunter, where you go to the ins and outs of celebs, professionals, and behind-the-scenes workers of your favorite movies and film. Today, I'm being joined by Jamie Archer. How you doing?
Right, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Now, Jamie, we've spoke about you in previous podcasts, but we've never had you on. And the reason for having you on is, as I said in last week's episode, our guest for this week was supposed to be Chris Carr, who is a tribute artist. They like not an artist himself, but he promotes the tribute artists through the UK, Ireland, and Europe. But due to Wi-Fi issues, his has now been postponed to next Saturday. So join us next week to hear about Chris and how he got into the industry and how he has now progressed on to where he is today. He is currently doing a tour next weekend in Scotland with his wife Alicia, who is the Pink tribute. So make sure to tune into that. It'll be a very interesting episode. Apologies for anyone who may have been waiting to hear that episode this week and has not been able to hear it. But Jamie is our substitute today. So as Adam is also currently script writing, I believe, and prioritize that. But you know what? We see how it is. We see how it is. So Jamie, now you haven't shut up about this for the last, I don't know how long. You don't stop talking about it with Jake in tech, and you've been speaking to me about it even yesterday, I think it was, when we were out, and that is the Mandela Catalogue.
Yes, well, the Mandela Catalogue, it's very interesting. It's something that's been gaining a lot of traction on YouTube recently. Each video has quite a lot of views. I think the first one has about roughly 3 million. It is essentially a analog horror series created by Alex Kister. Now, by analog horror, I mean things like it's almost in a found footage sort of style, using technology like VHS, sort of camcorders, technology sort of from the 80s and 90s. And essentially, it is in this reality where there are these creatures known as alternates. Now, alternates are basically like, the way I sort of understand is like almost like they're body snatchers. They're basically these demons or something that want to replace you and take your place in reality. It's first of all, like, it's a very interesting concept to begin with, but it is obviously, being a horror series, it is very unsettling, and it's been a really long time since I found something in YouTube that's genuinely kept me disengaged and wanting more. Recently, the second volume or second season of it just came out a couple of days ago, about 3 days ago, and it's already got near 1 million views. It's me and my friend, like I said, Jake, we've been like completely obsessed with it. It's just great. Like,
Yeah, no. What is it that has you hooked on this?
it's because it uses things like, it's so simple. Like, we are film students, right? And it uses so many really simple things, like simple camera shots of maybe something like a door or just a dark room, or just old sort of cartoon footage as well. And they managed to make it so unsettling with these sort of hummings and then buzzings and then this really just sort of suspenseful atmosphere that builds throughout the video. And there's horror elements, right? But there isn't like jump scares. It manages completely on its own to just build tension, and it instills that real sense of dread and fear in you without anything getting really in your face. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's the one thing in a really long time that has genuinely made me like a bit afraid when I'm watching it, and something that kind of keeps you up a bit at night when you're thinking about it.
Yeah. Now, how long has this been going on for? Like, how long have they been producing this for?
It roughly started, I was just looking there, about 7 months ago, I think. Which it doesn't feel like that long. It feels like, I mean, I've only gotten into it recently, but I do remember watching them back when they came out. But people, the first season came out, and then we were waiting for several months until the second season came out yesterday, and it kept getting postponed by the creator because he wanted more time to work on it, which I think is perfectly fine, because I don't want creators to push out things that they're not entirely happy with just to sort of satisfy, the audiences. I want them to spend as much time as they need so they can pump out a well polished product that they're happy with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been going for roughly about 7 months now, and now that the new episode is out, all these different kinds of YouTubers, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, whatever, are doing all these reactions and analysis of themselves, and it's actually genuinely interesting to see what they have to say about it as well, and their reactions to it.
Yeah. Now, for the ones that are listening, it didn't actually come out yesterday. It came out a few days ago for you, but in the time of recording, it came out yesterday. Also, sorry for any mic interferences you may have heard with Jamie's microphone there. But moving on, a game that has came out as of very recently, and me and Adam were actually playing this. I believe it came out January 20th, so that would have been 2-3 days ago. And that is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction. Now, this is very different in a sense, but also quite similar to the Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege game that came out in 2015. It's a co-op multiplayer game where it's basically you have to fight these parasite-like aliens called Archeans. It came out for Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Amazon Luna, Google Stadia, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. It's had mixed reviews so far. You have to sort of work together, and like if your character dies, you have to go retrieve them. So it's not like if you die and you just restart. That character's now gone. You have to go back into the mission and get him from this like zombie like tree and like fight the zombies to be able to get him back. That's why it's called extraction. You have to extract the operator and infiltrate alien infested locations, complete objectives such as collecting samples, extracting materials from computers, gathering intel. Each play session, known as an incursion, is made up of 3 interconnected submaps, and players will be assigned any one of the 12 objectives randomly as a submap. These objectives are procedurally generated, so it's just random generated, but in a sense where it's already sort of set. So you might get the same objective again. New areas become more difficult, but you get better rewards. So in a sense, you sort of play to get better. And when you get better rewards. So it's not a pay to win sense. You can claim a free skin on Twitch Prime for the first release of it, as they've done with Rainbow Six Siege. Says here on Wikipedia, so obviously take a pinch of salt, but it seems quite accurate so far, that extracting early ensures that all the operators will be safe. If an operator is taken down by an enemy, they will come missing in action, so they're MIA, and players cannot play as them until they've been rescued in an extraction mission. As I previously said, characters which are severely injured in the previous mission will also remain hurt. So, and you go in and like you're on really low health, you'll go into the next mission on quite low health. It has some of the operators from Siege. They are a containment team known as React in order to contain the alien threat. So you've got like Pulse, Sledge, Vigil, Lion, Finca, along that line. The aliens have different sort of variants. Some have spikers who shoots sharp projectiles from their body. Ridders can slow down the player. It's a good game is basically all I can say, to be honest with you. They started it just after working on Watch Dogs 2, but they released a limited time mode called in Siege called Outbreak in 2018, in which players must combat hostile aliens in New Mexico. So from that, a lot of people they liked that game mode, so they developed it more and got it out as a full game. So that was basically an early development version of it. So that's one game, but moving on to another game is Team of the Year. So Team of the Year is it's like a, what do you call that word? It's like a limited time thing in FIFA where every week they release special items, but this time of the year, it's Team of the Year. So the best players of the football calendar year get cards. So it's voted by the public, but EA Sports make the final decision of who will get in. So sometimes your favorite player, like Mo Salah, who got robbed from this, don't get in. So the attackers are Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and Robert Lewandowski. Your midfielders are Jorginho, Conte, and Kevin De Bruyne. And your defenders are João Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, Marquinhos, Achraf Hakimi, and your goalkeeper is Donnarumma. So a lot of the things that happened on the Friday of release is players couldn't get onto the servers for 2 hours, and there was a lot of outrage from the FIFA community to EA Sports, who didn't want to really resolve that issue. They took their time. I find it quite appalling, to be honest with you, that they took that amount of time to get a server issue fixed that they knew was going to happen because of the amount of people that log on for Team of the Year, like Team of the Season. So that's really bad on their part, and I hope they compensate for that. But there's a lot of outrage that the likes of Mohamed Salah didn't get in, the likes of Erling Braut Haaland like Cristiano Ronaldo, but there's always that option for a 12th man, which comes out on Friday, the 28th. There's a vote for the 12th man, and the 12th man gets into the team on top of that. So I think Cristiano Ronaldo will get it, but if he does get it, Mo Salah was robbed, to be honest with you. But that's just how it works. Now, speaking of football, I covered this last week, and I'm going to cover it again, and that is the January transfer window. So last week we covered about the likes of Philippe Coutinho, who joined Aston Villa from Barcelona under Steven Gerrard's side, who actually came on in the Manchester United game. And as I said, he always plays well against United, and he done that. He came on, I believe, the 77th minute, got an assist for Jacob Ramsey and scored, which was assisted by Jacob Ramsey. So that was quite good. Now for Arsenal, they have currently signed no one, but they're looking for Vlahovic from Fiorentina. He is a striker that done well at the Euros, and now he's doing quite well at Fiorentina. And there's a lot of top clubs that are looking at him, and Arsenal seems to be the main ones at the minute, as they're looking to get rid of Aubameyang at the minute. They got rid of Balogun to Middlesbrough on loan, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles on a loan as well to Roma, so he'll be joining Tammy Abraham there. So Aston Villa, since the Philippe Coutinho move, have signed Lucas Digne and Robin Olsen, and they are also currently looking to get Luis Suarez to link up with his former teammate Philippe Coutinho and Steven Gerrard. They got rid of Aaron Ramsey after that and loaned him out to Cheltenham, which I think is quite stupid, but there's a few other loans in and out there. Brentford are currently looking to sign Christian Eriksen, as he's a free agent after what happened at the Euros, where he died on the pitch for 12 minutes. So that would be an interesting move. Christian Eriksen says he wants to play again. He wants to play in the World Cup, which is quite brave of him, and fair enough for that one. So they hopefully will get him in. It would be nice to see Christian Eriksen back in the Premier League after leaving Tottenham for Inter Milan. Brighton haven't really signed anyone. They signed a player from the Polish league, Kasper Kolowski, for £8 million. They loaned out Aaron Connolly, the Irish striker, to Middlesbrough. No one really else there is a big name. Burnley sold Chris Wood to Newcastle for £25 million. I think that was quite stupid because he's sort of their leader at the front. Chelsea signed no one, loaned a few young players out. Same with Crystal Palace. Everton signed El Ghazi on loan from Villa. Nathan Patterson from Rangers for £16 million. It's quite a good signing. He's a young, exciting fullback. And Lucas Digne went to Aston Villa for £25 million, as previously said. Not really much been happening in the transfer market so far for some of the clubs like Liverpool, Leicester, and Leeds. Manchester City sold Ferran Torres to Barcelona for £55.2 million. Barcelona were nearly going to have to sell him back to Manchester City until Samuel Umtiti renewed his contract and took a wage cut in order to let Ferran Torres join the club, as they couldn't register him as a player. Manchester United are looking to sign a few interesting players like Haidara from RB Leipzig, but so far no one's came in. Few loan outs like Axel Tuanzebe went to Napoli, Ethan Lair went to Bournemouth, and Tendon Mengi went to Birmingham to join Taif Chong. Newcastle signed Kieran Trippier from Atletico Madrid for £15 million, and as previously stated, Chris Wood from Burnley. Norwich haven't signed anyone, loaned out a few good players. Same with Southampton, same with Tottenham. Watford signed Samir from Udinese for an undisclosed fee, and Kamara from Nice for an undisclosed fee. Apart from that, that is basically the Premier League transfer window as it sits. Now, although Premier League hasn't got much action, AFCON's been continuing on, the African Cup of Nations. It takes place every 4 years. It was postponed due to COVID, but it is well underway now, as previously stated. Last time I named the groups are still going on, with Cameroon top of the table of Group A, Senegal top of the group of Group B, Morocco top of Group C, Nigeria top of Group D, Ivory Coast top of Group E, and Mali top of Group F. So that now puts them through to the knockouts. So Mali play Equatorial Guinea, and Senegal play Cape Verde. Nigeria play Tunisia, and Burkina Faso play Gabon. Gambia play Guinea. Cameroon play Comoros. Ivory Coast play Egypt. That'll be a very good game. and Morocco play Malawi. Now, most of these games are covered on Sky Sports or BBC. So if you're in the United Kingdom, you can watch them there. Now, Book of Boba Fett. It's a show on Disney Plus that airs every single Wednesday around 8 a.m., I believe, or 8:01, something like that. It's a very good series, as me and Adam have covered previously. Episode 4 came out on the Wednesday of this recording. It's a very interesting episode. Basically, what happens is you get another flashback of how Boba Fett basically continued to fight back, got a ship, met his accomplice. Where if you watched The Mandalorian chapter 1 or chapter 5, sorry, I believe it was, she actually gets left in the place of her finding and Book of Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. And if you listen very closely to the end, the Mandalorian theme song actually plays at the end of that episode, which means I believe that the Mandalorian is set to return to take down the leader of where Jabba the Hutt used to sit. But we'll find out that in next week. Midnight. That is something I really wanted to cover. It's the new show coming out on March 30th, I believe. It's very, very interesting. It's the next sort of show for Disney Plus. Oscar Isaac plays Midnight. He sort of has multiple personas. Ethan Hawke comes to play the villain, Arthur Harrow. But basically, Midnight's personas is Mark Spector, who was a mercenary. He went to Egypt, and that's where he sort of came across at the pyramids, this thing that now possesses him. And then we have Stephen Knight, who doesn't know about his other persona, and he's basically works in the museum. In the comics, he was a millionaire. He was a very rich man. They kept the truth with Mark Spector, but it's looking very likely for the first trailer is going to break 1 million like milestone, which is quite impressive. It now is topped One Division, who boasts 760,000 likes, debuting at 2020 Emmy Awards, and Disney Investor Day has 370,000 likes. So I don't know if you're really big into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Jamie, but I made you sit there and watch that trailer because you didn't hear about this. What is your opinions on this so far?
It looks interesting. It's been a while since we've seen sort of a superhero in like a London setting. It looks like, so
Yeah, apart from
something like that's a bit different. But I myself, I'm not really super interested in Marvel, but I did really like the new Spider-Man film. I thought it was great, and I always liked the major Avengers films that came out, like Infinity War and Endgame and all that. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, I'll probably give it a watch when it comes out on the 30th, isn't it?
30th of March on Disney Plus. It's quite interesting to me because it almost boasts a horror aspect to it. Because you see the Moon Knight. Sorry, not the Moon Knight. I'm not entirely aware of the name of that god or whatever he is that possesses Oscar Isaac's character, but you see him coming down and he turns into a granny. He has to claim that then he lost one of his contacts and that's why he's having a panic attack in the lift. But it's quite an eerie sort of show by the looks of it, with Oscar Isaac's character having multiple personality disorder, which I don't think it's called that anymore, but that's what I'm aware of it being called. But yeah, it's quite an interesting idea, and it sort of adds that new aspect to the MCU that we haven't seen quite yet. But moving on to that, this is a topic you seem quite excited to discuss previous to hitting record on this episode, and that is Red Dead and its potential remake that's in rumors.
Yes. The first time I heard about this was it was on the Snapchat Discover page, and usually when I'm on that, I'd rather be looking at anything else, because it's terrible. But I did see a little article. It was saying a possible Red Dead remake, and I am a huge Red Dead Redemption fan, and to see something like one of my favorite games of all time, Red Dead, like being remade possibly with Red Dead Redemption 2's like engine and graphics, the whole game just being made from the ground up again would be like a dream come true. But I mean, it almost sounds too good to be true, you know what I mean? But and especially it was coming from, I think, Gaming Bible, something like that. And I mean, I don't possibly see them as the most reliable source, but I would love to see something like a Red Dead Redemption remake, and I'm curious to see how they would do it as well, because I mean, would they have to re-record all the dialogue? You know what I mean? Because that's a lot of stuff to do, or would they just keep the old recordings and then just scale them with the new audio quality and stuff like that? But yeah, I would love to see a Red Dead remake.
In my opinion, I think they should do it the way they done the GTA remakes, obviously not messing it up like they done this time. But I think they should sort of keep the graphics in a sense, but sort of just up the like shaders and like the textures a wee bit, but not make it like a new game in a sense, because
more
that
like
loses...
a remaster then.
Yeah, remaster it. I feel that would probably be more to the heart of the OG fans that have been there since day one.
The only thing is, people talking about a remake, I can't really see it like just yet, because the game itself only came out about roughly 10 years ago, and it still holds up as a great game today. Like, it's still technically pretty impressive, and to remake it already, I can't really see that. Rockstar seem to be still focusing on GTA Online still, and Red Dead Online as well, so I can't really see it, to be totally honest with you.
I think Rockstar sort of in a cycle now where it's release a game, remake a game, release a game, remaster a game. Like, I think they need to work on a new game, in my opinion. Like, they need to get GTA 6 out, then they can get the money out of that for a solid another 9 years or something until the new one comes out. But everyone just wants GTA 6 at this point.
I would love to see GTA 6, but another game I would love to see is Bully 2. I have heard that there actually is credible sort of leaks about that it is a possibility, and it may be pretty soon. I love the first Bully game. I remember playing it on the PS2 back in the day, and then playing the Scholarship Edition on 360. But I mean, I just love that game, and seeing a sequel to it, it was a pretty smaller scale game compared to sort of other Rockstar's other big titles, obviously like Grand Theft Auto or whatever. But at the time, it was such a cool, so sort of unique game that I mean, I'd just love to see more from it, because it feels like it's just sort of been forgotten about by Rockstar, It's been a long time. But I would love to see Bully 2.
I know it's sort of a fan favorite, Bully, but I don't see it happening. It just won't make them the money, in my opinion, that they now crave.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the sad thing is that there's still milking GTA 5 for everything it's worth,
Yeah, I mean, GTA 5 is still a great game. Don't get me wrong. I love GTA 5. I'll probably play it after this, but after I finish playing my FIFA and getting all that sort of time of the year. But I love GTA 5. Don't get me wrong. But recently, me and you have been playing Red Dead 2, doing bounties, doing blood money, and it's good crack. Like, it is good crack.
Yeah, it's like it's. I never really played it until a couple of weeks ago. Me and you started to get into it. I mean, and Red Dead 2's been out for about 3 years. Yeah. So I mean, it's starting to its player base is starting to go down steadily. But it's there's still some enjoyment that can be found. I mean, there's a lot of the time it's just funny moments doing bounties and stuff like that. Blood money.
Seeing people jump off a bridge continuously.
Oh yes, remember that?
Yeah,
that was funny. But yeah, occasionally you get funny moments like that. But I mean, it's kind of sad the way Red Dead Online has sort of turned out, because it's just slowly, or not slowly, it's died off pretty quickly. Like, GTA Online still has a pretty steady player base, and so does Red Dead Online. But I mean, the way it's going, it's just like people are losing interest in it very quickly.
Yeah, there's a lot more player base on GTA 5 online than what there is on Red Dead Online. And they even done it to the point where they sold Red Dead Online separate for the people that didn't want to buy the story mode, just to try and get that player base up.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've sunk so much time into Red Dead 2 story mode alone. Like, I just love the story mode. But see, online, there's fun to be had. But I mean, the way it is and the state it's in at the minute, it's just, I don't think it has enough to sort of keep people engaged in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe we previously covered this in another episode of the podcast, but as me and Adam said it before, they need to make it where you can buy a house, where you can do stuff like that, where you actually feel like you own something. Because in GTA 5, or sorry, in Red Dead 2, as I previously stated, you only have a camp, and you could set up a camp anywhere. It's not your set house. You haven't paid for that.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're going wrong with it. Now, moving on to the final topic. This has been a shorter episode. Apologies for that. It was very, very last minute. But UFC 270 is on the 23rd of January, so it's tomorrow night at around 3 a.m. We have Francis Ngannou fighting Cyril Gane. I might have butchered his name, and I apologize if I do. But Ngannou is currently 16 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses, whereas Gane has 10 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. So that's a very, very good fight in the heavyweight division. It's the main event of the evening. Then we have the co-main event, which is in the flyweight, and that's Brandon Moreno versus Delvinson Figuero. Once again, if I butchered his name, I apologize for that one too. But when you have people from all around the world, sometimes it is difficult to pronounce their names. Now, Davison is 20 wins, 2 draws, 1 losses, and Moreno is 19 wins, 5 draws, and 2 losses. So once again, a very good fight in the flyweight division. Mikael Pereira fights Andre Fiacho in the welterweight division. Once again, that is a co-main event. Michel has 26 wins, 11 draws, 0 losses, and 1 knockout. So 2 knockouts. Andre has 14 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses, of 1 knockout. So some good fights in that. The weigh-ins came in, and Ngannou's 257 pounds. Cyril is 247 pounds. Moreno is 124 pounds. And Davison is 124 pounds. And that was as of 1 minute ago. So we are quite on the ball with that one. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this episode. Sorry, that's been a slightly shorter episode than recently. Episodes have been very last minute. So next week on the podcast, we will have Stevie Shanks. He is in Flash Harry's, the drummer of Flash Harry, a tribute band that tributes Queen. They're in the Ulster Hall coming up soon. But make sure to tune in next week to listen about how he got to where he is in his life and his career, where he is now. So thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next week.